Hello, everybody, and welcome to Early Access Podcast, episode 48. My name is Angelo, and I'm your host for this wonderful indie escapade. Um, it's been a pretty relaxed week for me. I've had off for work today, and I have off the rest of the week. Yay for vacation time! So over the next couple of days, I'm going to actually be blowing through a bunch of fucking podcast, a bunch of games that I haven't gotten a chance to play. You know, just me, so it's hard to get through some of these games. But before I get into any games, I want to talk about something that was bugging me. As the title indicates, early access means early fucking access. A game on early access came out past few days, and there was about 40 positive reviews, and like I want to say 4 negative reviews at the time that I read it. Now, what pissed me off about this would that the negative review started with a disclaimer that anything in any comments about how this is early access about his negative review were going to be deleted. And the person, I'm assuming I don't know, the reviewer said, oh well, every game deserves a fair review, which I think I do. It seemed like the person was using the early access, like, oh, whatever, it's early access, so it doesn't make it impervious to criticism, excuse as a crutch to make a negative review. Now, what really bothered me about it was the fact that the review didn't really have any real substance. He didn't really break down like the game mechanics. All the review did was pointed out a few things that could easily be fixed over time. Now, I understand people's stance on early access that, like, oh, well, I think too many people just expect games to be finished. That's what I'm fucking saying. So, first of all, early access games are just that. They are early access builds of these games. These are not finished products. So if you go into an early access game with the mentality that, like, everything should work, you're doing it wrong. Early access isn't for you. Stop buying early access games. It's pretty fucking simple. I don't understand why I keep seeing all these negative reviews that have no substance really for early access titles, because frankly they're unwarranted. Bitching about balance changes in an early access title is not a reason to give it a negative review. Just because you're fucking butthurt because you don't like the way something looks, or maybe something doesn't work as fast as you'd like it to, again, is not a reason to give it a negative review. I'll compare it to movie criticism. When somebody reviews a movie, they could give it a C+ and still review it positively, but they'll also talk about the things that the movie did wrong. Now, what pisses me off about those kind of reviews, and granted, I'm guilty of one review like that, and that was for that garbage RPG, but that was a different case. But you go through the positive and the negative about what's going on. You don't just pick out the little things that bugged you about the game and then never actually talk about, like, is it actually fun? Do the mechanics work? Can you see what the developer's going for? These are things that are far more important than balance changes. Those are things that the developer is going to be working on. Especially, I ask myself several things before giving a game a positive review. Are the mechanics functioning? Like, is the core concept of the game there? Is it broken? Like, is the developer involved with the community on the forums? Are other people posting similar questions? Is the developer responding to these questions? Those are all things that go into a positive review. If the game's broken, then by all means it's a negative review, up and down, hands down. If the game's not fun, like if you don't see the core concept there, then fine, write a negative review. But to nitpick over all the little things that the games do wrong, I think your expectations are just wrong. Don't, like, I understand that you do need to treat early access games fairly and the review process fairly. However, you can't go into the game expecting a finished product. And I will always speak negatively on people that always preface with, like, I know it's in early access, but like don't use that as like a caveat for your rampage. You're just like, oh well, it's in early access. However, I don't like these little things that, like, don't change the core of whatever the title is. It's unfair to the developer. It's unfair to what the early access program does, especially when you look at it. The majority of early access titles have positive ratings. Why do they have positive ratings? Because a percentage of the people do understand what they're getting themselves into. Do research better. I was reading the comments and people had gone and were like, oh well, I'm not going to buy this game now because of this review. And it's just like, well, fuck you, guy. You're one of 3 negative reviews out of 40 reviews, and your poor understanding of what the early access program is turned a couple people off of this game who may have been like into it in the first place without warrant, like without merit. Like maybe they watched the trailer and they saw things that they liked, but then you nitpicked some bullshit that the developer is clearly going to fix, but you didn't actually talk about anything that was positive about the game. So, you can still recommend a game with caveats. You can go, hey, I like this game because of X, Y, and Z. However, these are things I would like to see change in the future. You can still recommend the game. You're not recommending a finished title. You're reviewing whether or not somebody should put their money into a work in progress. Like, that's the difference between a review for an early access title and a review for an indie game. Like when I go to the movies, sorry again with the movie analogy, but I don't just go and look at the Rotten Tomatoes score for a movie and go, oh, it's at 90%. I'm assuming it's great. And then I'll be like, oh man, that subplot was stupid. Why would anybody ever fucking watch this movie? Well, because the movie as a whole's good. Just because the subplot's poorly designed doesn't mean the thing as a whole is bad. But that's why you read a review. You read it, and to just only post the negatives that you find and not the positives, and also just completely miss the mark on what early access is as a product, you're doing a disservice to the community. And I don't respect reviewers that review early access titles as if they're finished products. They're not. And you need to write as if this game is going to be fixed. You're trying to paint a picture of the entire product for whoever may want to back that product. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but it's early access for a reason. It's not for everybody. So stop buying them. Stop buying into early access games. Like, clearly they're not for you. You found one, like maybe you picked up, fucking DayZ or Rust or something, which have had so many more problems and game flaws, but people still love those fucking games. So whatever, you're doing a disservice to the developer that made that game, to the people that may have been interested in playing that game, and the people that you turned off of that game because of your poor review. So, in general, I would just like to see better reviewing coming out of early access, which is why I started this, because I would go and look at some of these other smaller early access games, and I found that most of the reviews were kind of hit or miss. I thought it was a market that needed better written reviews. Now, you go look at some of my percentages, and it's a coin flip. Some of them half of the people like, some of them 80% of the people found helpful, some of them 100% of the people found helpful. But that's all really comes down to the community around it, because it's the internet and people love to bitch about shit. If I put a YouTube video into my Steam review, people flip their shit. And I'm trying to give you an honest 30 minutes of this gameplay before you go jumping in because you read Joe Schmo's shitty review. Here's an actual look at what the game is. That's the better way for me to do it anyway. But I'm going to leave it at that. Like I said, it's early access. Treat it as early access. Stop fucking treating it as if they're finished titles. They're not. They never will be. And if you want finished titles, go fucking buy one. End of story. Excuse me. So, let's get into the actual stuff I've played. I've only played one game so far since the last episode, and it's this game called Submerged. Submerged is not an early access title, and I reviewed it as such, actually. So Submerged came out, I don't even have the page up. Here it is. Submerged came out August 3rd, so, a couple days ago. It's $18, $20, $18. It's 10% off, so it's usually $20. Mostly positive right now. It's got 60 reviews, so 75% positive. People, I spoke about this, or I wrote about this in the review for it, is that a lot of people negatively reviewed this game because it's an indie exploration game. By some of the people that made BioShock. It has a similar feel and aesthetic, but it's outside. You play a little girl named Miku, and you're trying to save your brother, and you're in this world that's kind of reminiscent of waterworld. So the whole world is underwater, except for the tops of buildings, and you have a boat, and you can upgrade the boat, and you drive it around. There's no combat, so it's just all about what you're looking at, what you find. Discovering what had happened to this city. Like, why is it underwater? Why are these creatures here? There's a bunch of creatures. So you play as this little girl, Miku, and you take your boat out, and you're trying to find rations to save your brother. It's an exploration game. It's a game that is only for people that want to play this kind of game. Again, play the games that you want to play. I thought it was neat. I played a couple hours of it, and from what I understand, if you mainline through the main story beats, it's only a couple hours. It will take you probably about 4-5 hours if you go and find all the hidden objects and everything. But in my opinion, the price point fits. It's $20, I believe. Well, yeah, $18. But that seems to be where all the negative reviews are coming from. That, and they're not sold on the graphics, even though I think it looks great. If you go check the video out, it's on the YouTube channel. If you go check the video out, I think the game looks good. The video might not do it the most justice because it is 720p down res and everything. But the game looks and sounds great, and it's a neat exploration game. It looks good. It's not supposed to be hardcore. It's just an exploratory journey. That's what it is. But go check it out. It's $18. And actually, you can get it on Steam, Humble Store, and if you have a PS4, you can get it on PS4. And by the time this goes up, actually, no, I lie. Tomorrow on Friday, the 7th, it'll go live on Xbox One as well. So you can play this on all the platforms. So if you prefer playing it on a console, you actually have that option for this, which I reviewed the PC version. I'm sure the console versions are just as good. But yeah, go check it out. Read my review. Read the other reviews. I'm not the only person reviewing video games out there, so by all means, go check it out without me. So that does it for what I played. I played a bunch more Rocket League because I have such a fucking boner for that game. Um, and I tried to play Ark, but I'm still messing with the the settings to get it right because that game is not optimized very well at all. So I'm messing around with that. I just got that, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And then once I get the settings all figured out, I'll be able to actually start streaming it. Maybe I'll probably do a review. I'm not too sure because it's one of those games where like you have to play a lot with a lot of people to actually get a good review out of it, and I don't know if I have the time to put in that kind of that time of dedication into it. So I grabbed a handful of games that came out since the last episode. This game is called Soccer Legends. It's mostly positive. It's only got 4 reviews, so 3 of those 4 are positive. It is in early access, $10.79, 10% off right now. Usually $12. Now, the Soccer Legend is kind of interesting. It's a real-time strategy / RPG soccer simulator game, sports strategy. It looks kind of neat. It's like a top-down third-person isometric. I don't know what that's called. Diablo style. You know what I mean? Like the 3/4 view. That's what it is. Top-down 3/4 isometric view. So you can see the field at an angle. And the way it seems to work is it's got RPG elements, and you train and manage your soccer team, and then everything is animated. So you select your moves, and then it does them. I guess you take turns back and forth. Let's see. Yes, it is turn-based matches. So it's not real-time strategy. I don't know why I said that. So no, it's turn-based. It looks kind of cool. There's been a couple different, not real-time strategy, but turn-based strategy games that have come out lately. This one seems neat. It's made by Digital Lightning Studios and Sodesco Publishing. People just say it's kind of cool. The concept looks solid. So maybe hold out on this one. It doesn't seem like doesn't even seem like there's only 2 English, or at least 2 English reviews I can read, and I can't even read the negative one. So go take a look. It might be up your alley. I'm not a big strategy fan like that. All right, so the next game I have that I pulled is called Sheltered. Now, Sheltered is positive, 85% positive out of 40 reviews. It's $14.99, and from what I gather about this game, it's kind of like a real-time version of Fallout Shelter. So if you don't know what Fallout Shelter was, it's the Fallout game that was put out for iOS and I think Android coming soon, and you're building a Fallout Shelter. Now this is a strategy version, indie survival strategy version of this. So you're basically doing the same thing. You're building a bunker underground, and you are collecting resources for your family. It's like this, cool looking pixel art. I think the game looks really neat. This may or may not be the game where I saw the review that I had a problem with. But from what I can see in the video, conceptually it looks sound. You have your family, you're trying to collect water so they can not die. You collect food, you build different things, you expand your underground shelter. You send people up to go to the surface to look for resources. It looks really cool. So go check it out. Go read some of the other positive reviews. It's a lot of people that have backed it. Apparently this was kickstarted last year, I believe. Actually, they think they doubled their goal too. So this game looks promising. I would go check it out. Excuse me again. So this game is called Kidnapped. Kidnapped is 23 reviews, 73% positive. It's $5.87. It's a random 16% off, which is kind of odd. Now, this is a story-driven horror game. That's what it says. So it's a first-person shooter, it looks like. It's got some lock-picking puzzles in the video. So it's a horror puzzle game, basically. Um, it says puzzle solving combat. We'll see how story driven it is. That was just a naked man. Well, he wasn't naked. He was wearing like a fucking Speedo. That was weird. But it's like only $6. If you like horror games, I mean, they come out so frequently now, it's pretty ridiculous. But for $6, you can do far worse. Even if you get a couple hours out of it, you know, $6 isn't too much of an investment to check out a game. All right, this next game actually looks kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious what the negative review is. It's a top-down. It looks like a twin-stick shooter. You know, your little robots just shooting stuff. You know, multiplayer. Let's see, multiplayer, full controller support. It's $7. It is an early access. Let's see. It's got capture the flag mode, team deathmatch, King of the Hill. You can play offline or online or with AI. So it looks pretty cool. It says it's like fast-paced action. If you watch the video, it actually looks like that. But I'm kind of curious what the one negative review is. And of course, it is not in my language, so I cannot even take a look at that for you. But if you have a couple friends, you know, it looks like a kind of game that you could get a bunch of friends together and play. So go check it out. Broken Bots. Seems pretty neat. All right, now this game is from Pixel Junk. This is the last one I got for you. This is not in early access, but I wanted to mention it because I enjoyed the other Pixel Junk games, like, you know, Pixel Junk Shooter and so on and so forth. Let's see, they actually have a bundle pack right now. You get Pixel Junk Eden, Monsters Ultimate, Nom Nom Galaxy, and Shooter. Nom Nom Galaxy is this one. This came out 3 days ago. It's already got 159 reviews. 80% of those are positive. Now, this one is a sandbox survival game. Think like Terraria or Dig or Die. But it's brought to you by the guys at Pixel Junk. So if you like their art style and their other games, you'll probably love this game. I wanted to bring it up, though, because it's 20% off until the 10th. So you can get it for $8 right now. Go check it out. It looks really cool. I love their art style. I think that's one of their big selling points on all their games. You know, they've done some pretty awesome stuff, and they keep churning out these unique, well done, like animated, well drawn games. So yeah, $8. You could again do far worse, and they are a known company that has been making games for a while now. So go check them out. And that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Don't forget, go watch all the first look videos over at youtube.com/early access podcast or at earlyaccessmedia.com. And I haven't really been saying to do this, but tell a friend, if you can, review the podcast. Prefer multiple stars, because the more stars I get, the higher I rank in iTunes and other, I guess, RSS readers. So it really helps the more reviews I can get. And use the Amazon banner on the website. Click through, bookmark it. If you get anything through Amazon, let me know. Tweet out at me. You know, I'd love to hear if anybody's using it. But yeah, tell a friend, tell a coworker. You know, tell your buddies that play game, like that are interested in indie games. I'm trying to get a little bit away from just early access games, so I'm trying to do as many indie games as I can, because you know, the majority of early access games are kind of weak, so I try not to review those. I try to stick to games that look promising, so that's why I have so many positive reviews on top of that. But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. I want to thank you again for listening, and I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday for the next episode. Monday. See you on Monday. I don't do podcasts on Tuesdays, so Monday. Have a good weekend.